I don't want to go into too much detail, but I'm having a bit of a thing with my trash company right now. And I'm in a position where I'm going to be able to stick the landlord and the trash company against one another, and I'm not liable for anything. So I think that's my goal. Essentially, I'm in an HOA neighborhood.
Okay.
But this wasn't advertised as an HOA home, and I didn't sign their HOA agreement. In fact, I told them I wouldn't sign it when they tried to get me to sign it after months of living here. I was like, no, y'all can sign it. Your house is in an HOA, but I don't live in a house that's in an HOA. I'm not bound to one. And so I can do anything here, and they are liable for it, not me. So, man, they quit picking up my garbage. It was like every other week. And with this puppy, I got pee pads. And so anytime he pees in my pee pad, it gets his own bag, and I'm getting that out of the house because it's pee. No one is sticking up the garbage. And so I'm making a lot of garbage, and they're not picking it up, and I'm complaining. And so that they're like, oh, we put you on a watch list. Someone's going to watch your garbage man and make sure he does his job. So the next time the garbage man comes, he takes the dumpster with him. They're mad, clearly, at the garbage company that they've been told on. So I told landlord that the pyramid of garbage begins tomorrow. I said I'm going to build a big pyramid of garbage in front of the house, and I really don't care what happens to it. There's a lot of animals about, I'll say that, and we're right across the street from the president of the HOA. Lovely woman. Deal with it. And they're like, please don't do that. I'm doing it. You have until the day after tomorrow. That's tomorrow. I have the garbage piled up, and I'm ready. I can't wait for tomorrow because I'm making my mountain. I'm making my mountain tomorrow.
Who's not doing the trash people are not doing their job, right?
Yep.
And
I'm being charged for trash through the landlord, through my rent. And I'm not.
You're basically saying trash was included in the rent. So
it is, yeah.
So you should be getting trash service, and you're not. Trash companies suck. I would call ours, and the truck had a GPS, and I'd be like, he never came. And they'd look at the route that the truck drove and say, you're right. He just didn't go down your road. I don't know why. He doesn't seem to know his own route, and they would miss it. Like the weekend, I don't know how you miss it half the time. Maybe there's different trash truck drivers. Like, to me, I'm bad with directions, but if I went there last week and the week before and the week before, then I probably won't skip it.
It should be on an app. It should be like, guide, like if that's your business, like this isn't me going to lunch. This is you doing your daily job.
Exactly. Like I have that app for my motorcycle. They'll be like, hey, this is a good ride. There's lots of turny roads here. And I'm like, cool. I put it in and I follow it. Why can't they do that with the trash truck?
Yeah. So sense. I'm pretty upset with them. They're just the worst. I can't wait to see how that turns out, though. I look forward to making a big mess in the yard and seeing.
You're gonna make a big mess all over the street.
Might get bad. Yeah, it might get real bad.
I think the animals will find it quickly. The raccoons.
Hope not.
If there's definitely animals where you live.
Well, it's a health risk in my residence. I think I'll argue that. What
Works
was that
for
to
me.
do?
Yeah. Yeah, they got to take your trash. So would you put the cans out there and they would just still be there the next day?
Yeah, like cans overflowing, the lid won't close anymore. It's just piled up, and it's by the curb. I kept it by the curb to make sure there's no way you came a day early, you came a day late. No, it was there all week, and they just don't come. They just don't come. And when they did come, they took the thing back, and I took that as a spiteful, like, oh, you don't like how we do garbage? You don't get no garbage. It was like in the Sopranos when the guy was like, they dump the garbage into his business parking lot raw, like not even in bags. And he's like, and he calls and complains. He's like, hey, like we always say, if you don't like the job we do, you get your garbage back for free. So we're just returning your garbage. You are talking fucking shit. Pile up in his fucking deli yard. So that's what I'm gonna do because they don't want to pick up my garbage and I'm paying for that. And I'm just, when you call, you can't get anything done either. They'll be like, they should be picking it up. And I'm like, I know, it's been months. So I'm done. I'm going to make a pile tomorrow, and I'm really excited about it. And if it goes for too long, I'm going to put up a sign that says X, Y, and Z properties. doesn't, like pick up the trash. Neither does J&J like trash services. And there's just going to be a landfill of refuse around it.
Well, good luck with that.
I think I'll talk to a lawyer before I go that far, but I'm having fun until the day somehow.
Yeah. The thing, my solutions suck. I'm like, you can put it in a pickup and take it to the what? You don't want to be your own garbage man.
I don't want to be my own garbage man. And
nor do you want to reward this bad behavior.
It's expensive to like call a guy who's just like a trash pickup guy for a few bags. It costs $100 probably to like get someone just to come and get what I've got right now. Because when I was moving, I did similar stuff, getting shit picked up. Oh, I got my entire deposit back from that last house, and it has to be a fucking mistake.
I believe you.
It was 15. I think it might be 1.5 months rent or something like that. It was like $2,000 or so, roughly. I don't know. And I did not do all the things that they wanted me to do because they wanted me to clean the place. And I was like, yeah, of course. They're like, no. Have professionals clean the place and leave receipts. And I was like, shit. Well, let me look and see how much that is. And I looked it up, and it's like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And so I said, what happens if I don't? And they're like, we'll fine you $300. And I was like, you realize no one in the world will clean this house for less than $300, right? Like, well, we'll fine you. Yeah, $300. They'll charge me $700. I'm not cleaning the house. They didn't charge me. I cleaned the house myself about as well as you expect. Like, I bet they found like some buttons somewhere, but there was no dirt. I swept and mopped and did all that shit, but I was not going to professionally clean that house. And I also didn't have time to fill in all those holes from my TVs being mounted. And I think I was missing a couple of drawers in the fridge and also one of the kitchen drawers. But yeah, I got the whole deposit back somehow.
Well, good.
Yeah. I won so I had this whole thing going on with my trash company. They wouldn't pick up my trash, so I kept telling on them, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna assign someone to come in and supervise your trash man. He's got a daddy now, basically." And I was like, "Ha ha, fuck him." Well, the trash man showed up.
Tell me more.
Then the trash man shows up and like takes my bin the next week. Clearly, he was like, "Oh, you don't like how I do it? You don't get trash picked up." And I'm like, "Hey, you said you were going to get that guy back in line, right?" And they're like, yeah, we talked to him. He took the bin and they're like, oh man. And it looks like your service has been canceled. It'll be 7 to 10 business days before we can get you a new bin. And I'm like, nah, that's not going to work. Here's the other little catch. When I started renting this place, it was not an HOA. So I'm not in an HOA. I never signed the HOA. But then like 2 months in, they're like, hey, turns out it's an HOA. And I'm like, it's your problem. And they're like, we'd love you to sign this. I'm like, nah, I don't think I want to do that. And they're like, well, okay, I guess. I'm like, yeah, I know. We have a lease. We have agreement. I'm not signing this. So they are responsible. They are culpable, if you will, for any infractions from the homeowner's agreement. So I let them know, I'm going to make a pyramid of fucking trash in front of my nice house here. That is going to be the most unseemly white trash thing you've ever seen. And the animals will get to it long before 7 to 10 business days. And I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you don't.
They showed up in 7 to 10 business hours, it turned out. Hey, so we're all sorted now. We're all sorted now. No need for the pyramid to begin.
So you think.
I mean,
until next week.
I was so prepared to, like, I have a lot of cardboard boxes. And I usually fold them up. I was going to put them in like square in the big garbage bags and just make it look bigger than it was. Like, big leaf bags full of cardboard boxes. It would look like a mini landfill.
Are you living alone?
But who knows if Debris Daddy's going to be there every week to make sure this guy collects your trash.
He was on a short leave. I've decided I'm not even going to stress. The pile begins when the dumpster fills.
Are you living alone, by the way?
Currently, yeah, but I've got a lady friend close by, and
I wouldn't I wouldn't worry about beef from your neighbors, because like I just feel like if I saw you like that hair, that jacket, and like you're like so straight posture, stoic, you got muscles under there, and you're just like, I'd be like, this is some fucking
don't mess with this
Patrick Bateman shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm not fucking with that guy.
He can put his trash where he wants to. Damn it!
Oh, I wanted to talk about that goddamn leak in my yard. Oh, it was so awful. I hadn't talked about it, but So since I moved in, like 3 months, I think, there's been a water leak in my yard, in my front yard, bubbling to the top of the ground and then running through my yard into the street all day, every day. Call them twice a week minimum. Hey, it's still going. So y'all know I'm not going to pay this water bill. Y'all paying this water bill. And they're like, yeah, we'll pay the water bill. All right. I don't really care about the creek that you guys have out here, but just so you know, it's still going. And so months go by. Water company comes by, knocks on my door. Says, hey, do you know you've got a massive leak in your yard? I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool. He's like, I got to turn your water off. I got to turn the water off here. You used 230,000 gallons last month. And I was like, really?
Well, my property manager doesn't seem to mind.
Like, well, I won't have any water then. So he leaves. He's like, yeah, I know, that's the idea or whatever. And I was like, shucks. And I watch him through the blinds as he drives away. And I walk right outside, turn the water right the fuck back on. Because you're not going to turn my water off. Fuck you. It's my water. Like, what am I supposed to be? Be saving pee up in the toilet all day for that one shit flush? Get the fuck out of here. It's my water.
Yeah.
So I turn
and I poop in the morning. I don't want to spend that flush early.
I go and turn the water back on. And I call the company again. And I'm like, hey, water company came by and shut the water off. I don't tell them that I turned it back on. Not because I'm embarrassed or thinking that I'm in any trouble. Just because I want them to. They should think that there's a problem. They should think they need to get out here. I was like, yeah, they turned the water off. Also, they said it's going at about 250,000 gallons a month. Just so you know, in Atlanta, that's about $8 1,000. So you can do the math. Whenever you want to fix it, just let us know. We're going to start charging you for every night I stay in a hotel. By the way, it will be a pet-friendly hotel.
And I'm thinking about doing it in Vegas.
That repairman was here at 7 p.m. on a Sunday night digging. First of all, not his fault. He's not the cocksucker that did all this. But I feel terrible for him. I'm sure he's getting paid well. I didn't ask. But he's in a mucky mud hole, like World War I style, up to his waist, digging this shit up at night with no proper lighting. It's cold. But yeah, water's fixed now. It must have cost them $4,000 for not just calling a plumber.
Doing it.
Yeah, just not doing it. But and the water department hadn't been billing them. The water department was unaware that there'd been a resident there since March. I've been only there since July or June, something like that.
What? So water was free?
So now they're going back and charging them for lots of water. So who knows how much they just got fucked over because they couldn't send a repairman. And the best part is nobody will get fired and nobody will care because that's just how those companies are made now, so that you can never get to an actual manager. It's at least with a credit card company, if you make a big enough stink on the phone, you get a guy who can do things to accounts. That'll never happen with this company. You'll always get that bottom level person who will be like, I put the ticket in. Oh, yeah, I see where the other lady put the ticket in. It's right here. I'll also put a ticket in. So as far as you'll ever get, unless you start talking about lawsuits.
That's what you get with some customer service people. It's like almost malicious non-compliance, where it's like they're trying to upset you with how bad they're doing. And it's like, dude, I know you talk to assholes all day. I need my electric turned back on because I paid my bill and I emailed you the bill. Yeah. Where are we at? Well, I submitted a complaint. It's like, no, fuck you. And then,
a lady tried to rush me the other day after I was on hold so long. When you go about your routine, just leaving the phone on hold, and you start being shocked by how much you've accomplished since you've been on hold. I had made a 20-minute drive, done some shit, and gotten back home, and I'm still on hold. It's been almost an hour. 55 minutes. And she finally gets me on the phone. I don't remember the specifics of what the issue was, but it was serious. Obviously, that's why I'm on the phone this long. And she's like, sir, if you could just hurry along. I got a lot of other customers to get to. And I'm like, are you trying to rush me off the phone? I've been on hold for an hour. You're going to listen until I'm done.
Dude,
I hate those people so much.
My trash company didn't come and get my trash cans 3 out of 4 weeks. So this is like a trash catastrophe in my house. Like we produce enough trash that we need you every week. If we have to go 2 weeks with one of those trash can fulls, it's difficult. But 3 out of 4 is a problem. So I'm calling them and I can't get service. By the way, every week they don't come. I call them because the day trash day is. I just end up leaving a voicemail and they're not coming. It takes them so long to get back to me. They're like, well, I mean, trash day's Friday and it's already Wednesday, so we're just going to, come Friday. Anyway, I'm on hold because it's midweek and I really have to get this freaking problem solved. So while I'm on hold, I call one of their competitors and I hire one of their competitors and I'm still on hold with this fucking company. Their competitor is like, dude, like, what's your trash situation now? Right, dude, what do you? And I was like, we are overflowing. We need you ASAP. Because they're like, when do you want to start? And they're like, well, actually, we can send a guy. While I'm on hold, our new trash company sends a truck to our house and takes the trash. And I still haven't. It's like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they finally pick up the phone and I fire them. And that's how the call went. And it was
that's the free.
I'm on
that's
the
the free
same
market.
walk right now. All right. So same thing. Maybe 1 out of 4 weeks. They got a dispute with the fucking company. They, like about tonnage or some shit. There's a Tony Soprano at the heart of my woes. I guarantee it. But in any way, they're not picking my garbage up. And I make a lot of garbage, Amazon boxes and whatnot. And now I got this puppy pissing on pee pads. And every time I fold them up and put them in their own little garbage bag, and I dispose of that shit because I don't want like smelly urine and shit in my house. So I fucking get it out there. And it's overflowing out there. It's 2 weeks now. They've missed it. Here's the thing, though. I got them. This is a non-HOA lease I have with them, but an HOA has been put in place. So they had to pay the HOA fees. They are beholden to the HOA, not me. So the garbage will pile high. It will pile as high as they want it to be. It's up to them how high it gets.
I haven't
Cover your nose. We're approaching the Myers house.
It's piled high up there right now. Garbage overfilling, lid off, 4 bags around it.
God, he eats a lot of meat.
Good contractors are hard to find, but I got a whole guy. I got a whole guy in this area. He's amazing. He'll get excavator, shovel, whatever you need. You need a hole or a trench dug. I got a guy who comes when he says he's going to come and digs where he says he's going to dig. And shockingly, doesn't hit anything else. If you want your internet to still be intact afterwards, this is the guy you call. Right. Anyway, I have a whole water bubbling to the surface. And at first I kind of ignored it. I tried to convince myself the rain was just making a puddle in this one particular spot for a couple days in a row.
Carbonated puddle.
It's funny how this puddle is kind of at the top of the hill, but puddles are funny things.
Maybe it's a natural spring.
Physics, the Lord's mystery.
So anyway, Jackie is like, I think there's a leak under here. I think, man, hear me out. You see how the well is here and the stable's here, and that's right about where the water would go. Do you think maybe it's damaged or frozen? And I was like, yeah, that seems more likely than my miraculous puddle theory. So I call my whole guy. And I don't know if he's fucking with me. I think he might be. He's still a great hole guy. But he pulls out a witching stick. Like a piece of copper bent in 90 degrees. He's holding it in his hand. And he says, this is how I locate water. And he seems to believe this. He seems to be wholeheartedly invested in this stick pointing towards the water. I think it's called a witching stick. Does this sound right to other people?
Okay. Water dousing.
Yeah. Water dousing. And I'm not buying it. This seems like hocus pocus to me, but he buys it and he has a partner there,
witch and rod there too.
And the employee is like, I didn't believe it either, but there's a technique to it and it works. This is how we always find underground water. And now it's 2 people trying to convince me that the witching stick works. I Google it. And here, Zach has various controlled scientific studies over the last 100 years have repeatedly found that water dousing does not work.
Yeah, of course not. So
that's where my head is. What I don't know is if he's playing a trick on the stupid customer or if he believes it.
So the explanation here seems to be that because of the earth being the way it is, you can drill down anywhere to a certain depth, almost anywhere, and get water. almost anywhere. And so it's like
per minute you need.
You're right here. Oh, keep going. Oh, didn't hit it yet. Go a little deeper.
I've never had I've drilled a lot of wells
every time. Yeah.
I've never not hit some water. It's always a wet hole, but but I don't remember how many gallons per minute you need. Maybe it's 8. It's something like that to like run a household, because it's not like you need it fills a reservoir within the well, and then the 8. I think 8. That's the number that's in my head. I drilled 3 wells at one place and got nothing but like moisture again, and then we did 2 bored wells at my dad's place. One of them went deep. So the drilled well is like as big around as you can reach with your arms. And then the bored well, I might have this backwards, but it doesn't matter. And then the bored well, if I don't have them backwards, is a smaller bit, like 6 inches.
Like a human head.
Yeah, I think roughly 6 or 8 inches, and it goes deep. I don't know how deep they can go, but hundreds and hundreds of feet is not a problem. And then but it's more expensive, obviously, and you've got a different kind of well pump. They use these long cylindrical well pumps that look neat, like a space probe or something that submersed.
Looking at the water dowsing sticks that are kind of connected into a fork, and people
they always bring those out. That's what I was going to say. Yeah,
they hold them underhand like this. It seems like after you're looking for a certain amount of time, you're going to naturally loosen your grip and cause it to go down. And no matter where you are, you're likely to hit water if you're in like an area used for agrarian pursuits.
He started with a light. So his was just a 90-degree angle, and he kind of tipped it down and looked to see which way it steered. But you like balance it into such a way that it can almost go left and right on its own. And it's almost like a Ouija board, where I know intellectually that we are pushing this thing around. Oh, that was slightly different than his. But like, it does feel like it's not me moving it.
It's always.
But you know what? If he's a really good hole guy, let him cast spells out there. Who cares? Let him have a water seance.
You know,
that's what gets it done.
You should have been out there with an even wackier thing, like spinning it around your head. Like, keep your distance.
You're like, hey,
spin a football, see which way it points.
You know
right here,
guys. I'm going to try and echolocate it.
Crawling around with your ear to the ground.
Oh my God, this woman's found water everywhere.
Look where she is. This is something different. Look where she is.
There seems to be water readily
I love to go out there with like,
you don't want that water.
An empty glass Coke bottle and a flat surface, and just play spin the bottle looking for water and kiss them now and then, because rules are rules.
Yeah, I feel like
sorry, bro, it's pointing right at you.
I feel like my strategy would be like, look how fucking green that area is.
Well, you can see the water. Like, to me, I'm like, well, it's probably from where the water's coming up, right? The puddle that's at the top of the hill, that's where I think it's coming from.
Yeah, well, see, that seems like cheating. You can't start water dousing when you know the source of it. Because you can just be like, you point over there, and then you pretend to be like a Three Stooge, like struggling to hold back as it's pulling you towards the water.
Wait a minute. I just realized how ridiculous this whole thing is. He was doing the water witching on a leaky water line?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he's an asshole. Okay, that's a joke. That's a joke.
I think it's not an asshole. He's bringing it out.
Guy. So every time I've ever drilled, they've always brought it out, and I've asked, my dad. That's who I would. Yeah, they always get that out. Yeah, they always say they can find it. I don't know. They didn't find shit, did they? I'm like, no, they didn't. There you go. That's how I found out it was bullshit.
Yeah,
I had a weird interaction with my Malamute. Escaped yesterday morning and went running into the cold morning, and so I chased out after him in my underwear.
This is the mentally disabled dog, right?
You say
all
that, yes.
Dogs are. All
and so I chased Rocky down to a nearby yard. There he is, and he's just taking a big old shit right in this guy's yard, and the guy's watching him do it. The guy happened to be up early. He's loading the trunk of his car with stuff. I don't know. He's in his garage, and it's a black guy, and he's watching Rocky take this huge shit in his yard. And he goes, "Just gonna dump it right there, huh?" and I show up, and I'm like in my underwear. I'm like, "Hey, I'm so sorry about him. He's a good boy. He ran away." And he goes, and Rocky like kicks his shit up into the bush and like looks at me all embarrassed. I swear he always does that when he poops, like kicks it back, and he goes, I go, I'll come right back. I'll clean it up. I'll get a bag. He's like, he kicked it in the bush. I guess it's cool. He's a pretty boy.
He is a pretty boy.
So I wrestle this stuff. He can't escape anymore. I've gotten the fucking GPS tags and I've ordered and I've gotten fucking I can't let him not be attached or behind a fence anymore because he will just fucking run off. He's ran off several times.
I've lived in Canada.
4:30 a.m. I'm in the neighborhood chasing this fucking dog. And it's so quiet. It's quieter than when I was at my dad's house or when I was on the lake back in Franklin County. At least there was like cows or like some Yahoo getting drunk. In this nice neighborhood, it's pin drop silence.
Footsteps and dogs.
I'm like, get back here. Get back here. It seems to, I'm shaking a bag of treats and I'm like, oh, this bag is so loud. I'm going to wake somebody up. It's that quiet. It's the most frustrating thing ever to chase a dog into somebody's fucking yard at 4:30 in the morning in your underwear and wonder if they're going to peek out, see Whitey and shoot. Like it's mostly black people here.
If you live in Canada in the wintertime, like that dog, you could like put it out and go out grocery shopping for the day in the middle of the winter, do all your things and come back and the dog will be like lying down or playing or just existing in the snow.
He loves the cold.
Such a sick dog.
I'll leave him outside for hours in the morning. I'll check on him like every 30 minutes or something. Like, hey, you want to come in yet? You ready? It's fucking cold, dude. Come on. He's like, nah,
chilling.
He just loves that shit. So he stays out in the freezing cold as much as he can. No, I love that dog. And that Toby dog, my Bernie Doodle, is so big now. Like I think he's 10 or 11 weeks old. He was born August 1st. All of his brothers and sisters I got him for $800. And then for some reason it was weird. I should actually ask. All of his siblings like tripled in price. So like they're selling this dog siblings for $2,500 and $3,500 or something. Either I got the retarded one again. And there's something wrong with this guy.
You want that though. You want that.
Yeah.
You want the long R dog.
I love this dog. He's fucking awesome. He's so fuzzy.
You know what dogs I like? I like those a Malinois.
I had the Malinois. Did you meet
Did
my
I meet it?
Malinois?
I didn't get to meet it though. I didn't get to meet it.
Good.
I love that breed.
I think I got the Malinois like right after you guys went because I went on a different trip right after that because that was the trip that I picked you and White Boy up. Me and Gator were coming down from Tennessee with a rocket launcher and watermelons. Yeah. So that was a different trip.
But did it do like incredible feats of like
athleticism?
Athletics? Yeah.
All right. So I'll tell that story kind of quickly because a lot of people here have heard it. But I go up to Paducah, Kentucky, where this guy trains fucking attack dogs, labs for drug detection work, and Malinois for military work. And he gets these big contracts with agencies and such. And I'm there to film a video about attack dogs. So I'm in the dog suit, like getting bit and attacked. They're putting fake drugs on me, having the dog detect them. And I'm filming the dog go through one of those crazy obstacle courses, his personal dog, Samson or whatever. And Samson's a big German Shepherd. And Samson whips my ass, runs through the course, then fetches this guy a beer out of the fridge, like on command. Like, go get it. And he like opens the fridge, brings the beer, closes the fridge. Here you go, boss. And dude's drinking the beer. And this must be his standard sales pitch. And it worked. Because I was like, how much are these dogs? I want one of these fucking dogs. Like I'm in my head. I'm like, this video will make more than the fucking dog will ever cost. Well, come on, it pays for itself. Let's get a dog. And it's like the $3,500 for one that's almost completely untrained. They're over here. These dogs know 5 commands roughly. The ones you've all heard of, plus bite and stop biting. They know those. I'm like, okay, that's. So you've got more expensive dogs. Oh, yes. And the rest of his dogs cost as much as cars. So I'm like, all right, give me that guy. And he's like, so I get this $3,500 Malinois, and he just didn't like me. I don't know how else to put it. He didn't like me. We had a couple of bad experiences where I was walking him once, and I went to like chop down a weed at the end of the driveway. And I think that motion, like, I never hit that dog. I don't think anybody ever had, but he did not like that shit. Freaked out, pulled out of his harness, ran away, escaped for 3 days, came back, was like feral. He's Kitty's dog.
You know why?
Damn.
You know why he didn't like you? And I don't mean this offensively. Perp face.
Perp face. That's what it is.
Perp face. You literally, to the dog, you look like a perpetrator.
Yeah, he smelled the weed on me. I got home and I was smoking weed, and he was like, my dad, they trained me about people like you.
I'm out of here. Same thing with your neighbors. Like, I wouldn't fuck with you. Perpetrator.
I'm a nice guy. I smile.
You
friendly.
You are. I know that. The dog didn't know that though.
The dog maybe didn't know that.
Upon
Anyway,
sight, I don't know if I'd know it.
that dog became Kitty's dog, her companion and protector. And I like that as much as enough that it didn't bother me so much that I didn't get to enjoy my dog because he protects her to the death.
I like that too. This is like, I like this. This is almost like a Pixar movie now, the whole thing.
She was walking him outside one day and I didn't know they were outside because I can't be in the same room with him. He's that kind of protective. I can't be in the same room. So I walk out the front door. She had taken him out of a side door. They're outside playing fetch. I take 6 steps around the house, got this like curved walkway around my house in the back, and there he is. Oh yeah. Shit. We're in a standoff now. And he's in that like head forward, haunches down, ready to pounce.
Yeah.
I'm like,
such an annoying dog to
like, and I know better than to run, you know, so I'm just like hands by my side, not making eye contact. Hey there, buddy. It's all okay. Kitty's gonna get me. Help me, Kitty.
It's
okay, buddy. Hey, buddy. Kitty, help me. He's gonna get me. And then he bites me on the calf, like pretty fucking hard.
God.
But I know not to hit him and I know not to run anymore. So I go, oh, and he lets go. and I sort of, and he backs off like, was that enough, motherfucker? Was that enough? And I'm like, that was plenty enough. I'm going.
That was more than enough.
And by now, Kitty's gotten there, and I'm sidling back into the house like a bitch to like check on my calf. And he totally could have ripped my calf off, but he just gave it a love bite. It bled a little. It was bruised as fuck, but like he could have held on. And I've seen what they do. Like he can.
It was a warning chomp.
He's a
That's
bad
the
boy.
thing, Kyle. People in abusive relationships, they start lowering their standards and accepting behaviors that they would have never accepted when they were in their healthy mind. I feel like you're trauma bonded to this.
Look,
dog,
if this
you
is
put up with that,
if some random dog does this to me at that time in my life, I fucking pop him. But you know, it's you know.
But you love this dog, and he doesn't mean it, right?
No, but
when he's nice to you, he's really nice to you.
I care about
the good times are good.
No, he's never good to me ever. I've never had a good time with him ever. There was that one time when you were at my house, and maybe he snuggled with us on the couch, and I think you got this warped
hard
idea of like what he's like, because there is this scenario in which everybody is sitting down and no one has stood up as far as he knows. Like he came into the room and everyone's sitting, and he hopped on the couch. And it's weird. It's like he's in a completely different mode. But then when men stand up, switches are flipped. And he's like, oh, noted. I'm back on the job. like
you got the bad half of the training, it sounds like just fuck people up part.
Like he's just like, all right, y'all gonna fuck with Kitty? Y'all gonna cause a problem here? Because I'll kill you.
We got an issue? I'll kill all of you.
I'll fucking kill you. I'll kill you all.
Check this.
I would hate to fight him hand to hand. You'd end up. I have this belief that I can take one of those dogs. I think most strong grown men can take a dog.
I think that too. I know how to kill a dog with bare hands.
Yeah, I do too. And I think you can take them in a 1v1. You'll get mauled, of course, and you'll need stitches and stuff, probably. But you kill a dog in a 1v1.
The entire attack is based on that dogs, almost all dogs, like every scenario will bite the closest thing to them. So you give them your forearm. Yep. You make sure your forearm is what they bite on. Your arm will be fucked up, and it's not your dominant arm. Your dominant arm is free to grab their throat and literally pull it out. And I just can't imagine it working on a pit bull. I just like my fingers are not strong enough for that muscular ass neck.
I agree 100%. I thought about that today for whatever reason. That like, I'd give him my left forearm, and then I'd go down on my knees and kind of like a full mount type position, push that forearm back, and then now I've got this arm to do anything I can with, whether that's choke or smash with a rock or a tool. Once you've gripped, and maybe I can get your whatever collar with this hand, I've got you, motherfucker. I don't care if you weigh 150. What do you weigh? 100 pounds?
You can
we're going for a ride. We're going. Let's go get in the oven. You're fucked.
The oven. You're fucked up. That's crazy.
Honey, pour a bath. I don't care how long. A hot one. Like you're fucked once I've got you. You're gonna need stitches. There was a kid in my high school.
I'm kind of like, did you say that you would put him in the oven or you would bring him to the showers? Because I'm on this podcast right now. Oven or the showers? Like, what are you trying to say?
No. I didn't.
Okay.
I wasn't.
Yeah, I'm sensing a theme.
Yeah, I feel like subconsciously you said oven and showers to me.
I've thought a lot about this landlord thing.
Okay.
And when's the last time you had a landlord, Woody?
1998 or something like that.
So that's going to shift your thoughts on this, I think.
Willing to
I've
learn.
had issues with mine. It's this big corporation, and that's worse than a person. I'd sue a person.
I like the inverse, but I'm listening.
If there was some guy across town who was doing this shit to me and ignoring my requests, I'd sue him. We'd be in small claims court, then we'd be in civil court. I'd fuck him up. I'd make his life annoying. But it's this big corporation. So when you're like, hey, the water leak in my yard, I still have water, but just so you know, I won't be paying for any of the water that leaks out of this house, and the yard is going to be ruined. They allowed that to happen for almost 8 months. There was a crater in my yard, a koi pond essentially that looked like a bomb had fallen there and filled up with water for 8 months. It didn't smell, thank God, but it was just an eyesore. They didn't care because that much water leaking wasn't a big deal to them because they're a giant corporation, and the process of getting your claims escalated. There's no one who actually cares. It's all hourly paid employees. It's a nightmare. And then when my fucking AC went out a few years ago, again, huge nightmare. I was like, it's 80 degrees in the house, and they're like 88's an emergency. And I was like, oh, you know what?
Take it back.
I hung up on that guy and called back and told him it was 88.
So
and if they'd asked for a picture, I had the blow dryer ready. Like
I have two experiences. One, I rented this in an apartment complex. It was a big company like yours. I don't even know how many super big. And behind the washing machine, for clothes, it started to leak, like the hose went bad or something. And my apartment didn't have a ton of damage, but the apartment under mine, tremendous, right? The light fixtures were like buckets just holding water. The floors were ruined. The carpets needed to be replaced. Their personal belongings were damaged. It was just a stream of water that caused all this trouble while neither of us were home. So I returned to a slightly wet laundry area, and he returned to a ruined apartment. Cool. The people that needed to fix it weren't mad at me. They're hourly employees. They just do this every day. There was nothing personal about it. There were no problems. From my perspective, they replaced the hose. They toweled up the thing, and that was it. Like, it ended. I didn't have any problems. They didn't try to get my security deposit back or any of that nonsense. They're a giant company who didn't care. On the other hand, I rented a house from a dude. That dude lost his job. The house had a hole in the roof such that you could stick your arm to your shoulder outside that hole in the roof. You could see outside through the hole in the roof, and the water would come through this hole. It would drip down the walls, and it would soak Jackie and I's pillows like they were sponges. And we wake up in the morning with these pillows that weighed like 27 pounds.
That's insane.
And it was awful. And there was something wrong with the water, and it was well water, and there was a pump, and the pump pumped so slowly, like to fill the washer tub for clothing, 7 hours. Like, it was outrageously slow. When I showered, I'd make a cup with my hand and fill it from the shower head, then splash it on my hair.
It's the well. They've got a bad well.
This guy is giving me all of his sob story. I'm like, hey, I got these problems that need to be fixed. And he's like, I got problems too. I lost my job. He could have knocked me over with a feather when I learned I lost my job. So we wouldn't be doing any repairs to the rental place, but I need you to float my family and continue to pay your rent on time.
His insurance should be handling this.
Yeah.
We're making some assumptions about the idea that him being insured, he just didn't have money to cover any of the repairs because he was just a dude who didn't have the cash to actually be a landlord. And it was a terrible experience for us because of it.
I can't imagine. That sounds super shitty. The real problem is you need somebody you can go get and do what's right. And it's hard to get that done in either scenario, I suppose, at times. But I still think the real thing, but when I see people on Reddit hating landlords, it's almost like they don't like the system. They don't like the way the scales have ended up for whatever reason. They're like, can you believe it? They just sit there and take my money. I'm the one working. I support a landlord. That's what I'm doing. And it's like, no. I mean, it's real frustrating to see.
If Taylor gets a wild hair and says, you know what? I need a third job. I'm really not busy enough. And he decides to save up his cash for this big down payment and find the right place and then, fix it up before the tenants come in, and I probably do some level of repairs between every tenant. Then he's done all the stuff that the renters didn't have to do. They were able to just waltz into the house that Taylor saved up for, that Taylor makes payments for, to do it. Like, these landlords aren't evil. That's just the way it works. If you don't want to be a renter, do what Taylor did.
Yeah. I mean, like, you're right that it's just like when I see the like anti-work style people doing it, it's like, oh, this is a child who doesn't know how the world works. Like, they heard someone else say landlords are bad and now they're parroting that. Like, there's a chasm of difference between like the list of like the 20 worst landlords in New York City, where like they're like, I haven't had water in months, and they're like, fuck you, like, I'll send you to jail. Like, there's a difference between that and like a property man. Like, I have a buddy who's like a property manager. He's one of those guys who was like, I'm going to buy real estate in like addition to my job. And within 1 year, he was like, oh yeah, I had to quit my job, like, and learn how to be a handyman because I spend all day doing handyman stuff at all these properties. Like, I thought it was going to be a little passive income, but it turns out it's not. If you're a billionaire, it's passive income because you have 1,000 layers of middle management between you and the labor. If you're a dude who's a property manager who has a couple properties, you're working on that shit all the time. You don't have the capital to be like, oh, there was another boiler issue. Cost is no issue. Send someone else out there and spend $1 million. Like, no, you're going to be in there trying to figure it out. Like, doing what you can.
If you have a dozen 3-bedroom homes, that's a lot of toilets. That's a lot of light bulbs. That's so many furnaces and air conditioners and doorknobs and locks and latches and ovens and microwaves. I know slightly what that's like. You know, Dad's farm, those poultry houses. There's thousands of light bulbs. There's thousands of gears and knobs because each chicken gets one, right? So there's thousands of everything in duplicate. And the biggest part of his job has always been maintenance man, just walking around. Oh, look at that. If I don't tighten that, everything will burn down. Good thing I was here. Every day is that. Every day is catching something that was 3 days away from disaster.
Have you heard of like Love for Landlords subreddit?
No, I've never heard of it. Is it a joke?
I'm actually the head mod.
It's a whole subreddit. They've got their own little terminology in there. Like, the landlords are known as land chads. They make memes about like fucking me when I increase the rent on a single mother of 4.
Yeah, I didn't know this was my position.
When you're a renter, who replaces the light bulbs?
I replace my own.
You could demand that they come fix your light bulbs, I guess, but like, I've always just changed my own.
Okay. I hope this doesn't get anyone fussed at, but when Chiz stayed in our guest house, by the way, he didn't pay rent or anything. He just worked with me and stuff. But when he moved out, to my surprise, all the light bulbs were burnt out. This was a time in our like evolution where like most people had compact fluorescent bulbs, but when they burnt out, you replace them with LEDs. Like, that's the stage we were in. And all these compact fluorescent bulbs had burnt out. And he was like, well, I was just sort of staying here. I'm not going to replace your light bulbs. I was like, I'd never heard of that, but okay. Like, so we had like 8 bulbs to replace.
He just slowly acclimated to a darker place.
And I noticed he was always in the dark over there, but I didn't I didn't ever know.
He's got candles. He's walking around like Rip Van Winkle with one of those finger holders.
He would visit us. He would come over and he'd play Risk with like Jackie and Colin and stuff, board games. But I didn't like knock on his door and intrude in his privacy.
Torch and a big old medieval torch.
I think he just stole your fucking light bulbs, man. He could have just
saving them up. And I'm not replacing your copper piping either. Don't even start. Like,
the wiring in the walls was gone when I got that.
I'm on Chiz's side on this because what you've done here is you've changed the topic. We were talking about landlords and tenants. If Chiz had been paying you a rate, then yeah, man, you're responsible for everything in there. You don't break anything either, because like you're. But he was a guest.
Okay.
In the spirit of shitting on landlords, like, I have had bad experiences with big companies. Like, the place I lived before this, like 5 years ago in that apartment, I must have called a dozen times over the course of almost 2 years. Like, hey, I've got like an alarming amount of black mold in my back entryway. And like I stopped using my back entryway entirely. Like you could come from the parking lot behind my place that was fenced in, like up to my apartment, or you could walk around through Death Alley and come in through the front. And so I always like would walk through the homeless alley just to get around. So I would take my chances with the homeless instead of the black mold. They just didn't care. They just couldn't care less. It's like, hey, like it's like I've done some Googling, and the internet tells me like this is alarming. Like it shouldn't be a torso amount of mold in the top of like your
torso amount,
like from my neck down to my like waist and as wide, just a patch of black mold and like slowly spreading. Like I think I could smell it, and they never fixed it. You were talking about like customer service, getting things like that taken care of. I've never really had to, a handful of times in my life, I've had to make a big stink on customer service. But most recently, my wife and I, that John Mulaney show we went to, the comedy show, we got there, and yeah, he was very, very funny. I like him too. We got there, and I had the Ticketmaster tickets, and like, you have to pull it up on your phone and then click a link from your email, and then it takes you to the QR code and whatever. And I get up there, I had the receipt that like showed I'd paid for it. And every time I went to open it, it was like ticket unavailable. I opened up other web pages, pulled up like ESPN. That's working. Ticket unavailable. And like, I was like, this is fucking bullshit. We're going to miss the start of the show. And so I just bought new tickets and was like, I will handle this fucking later, and bought new tickets there, used those to get in. And like, I'd never really disputed something with my credit card, like the official way before. And after the show and everything, I go home, we're sitting on the couch that night, and I'm like, oh yeah, those fucking tickets. And so I get on there and I try to go through Ticketmaster, and it's like one of those like planned blockade things where they try and make it difficult. And after like 20 minutes, I'm like, fuck you, honestly. Like I'm out $250 for $125 tickets for two people. Fuck you. And so I went in my bank app and was like, dispute charge. Like, and they asked for the thing, and I was like, they didn't give me the tickets. Like a very straightforward, like I paid for tickets and they were not given to me. And it like stopped me to be like, we're about to file a real complaint. Check these things first. And it's like suggestions like, did you misplace your money? Like, it's like, no, I didn't do that, dumbass. And so I just like, I have to hit like, okay, 3 times. And then at the end, it's like, we will launch an investigation into this if you file it fraudulently. And by the end, I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. I had to buy new tickets for the fucking show. And so I hit like file complaint or whatever. And I swear, I've never gotten more like update emails in my life from my bank, where 6 weeks ago, I would get an email that's like, just wanted to keep you in the loop. Like, it's automated, but it's like, wanted to let you know we are in the middle of our investigation. And it's like,
you reached the middle, thank God.
Yeah, I can speed you forward till the end, to the part where I tried to get my fucking tickets. Do you think that I like thought, man, I'd love an errand? Like as I was doing that? No, if you gave me the fucking tickets, I would have just spent the tickets I paid for.
You know who's the opposite? Wayfair. I bought 2 things from Wayfair. Bought a kitchen table and a bathtub. And the kitchen table was missing nuts, right? So the legs like bolted on, and it was missing like a 2 of the nuts or something. So I at first asked them to send them to me, and then I was like, you know what? I bet I have things that fit, and I did. They sent a whole new table. Nice. They sent a second kitchen table, and then I'm like, no, like I didn't need a whole nother table. You can come get the replacement table. It was really just 2 nuts, and I found them elsewhere. You could have your table back, still brand new in the box. And they're like, how about we just refund you and you handle the table on your own? And it's like, oh, like, I'm going to put this on Craigslist, selling it as a brand new table. And they basically said, well, it's better than us dealing with it. Yeah. Brand new table. Cool. So then we get this bathtub. This bathtub's like $2,000. It's for we did a bathroom renovation. And we call them up. And underneath the protection, there was damage. I don't know how it got there. I know it wasn't us. We pulled this big foamy, like a pool noodle off the edge of it. And sure enough, there's damage underneath that. Okay, bummer. We call them up and we're like, can we swap this with a different bathtub? This fucking bathroom is like a tribute to all the hard work I've ever done in my life. And we want it to be perfect. And they're like, we can give you $200 for repair. And we're like, nah, swap it with a new one. And they're like, well, we don't have any new ones. We can give you a refund. And we're like, all right, do that. I'm like, yeah, dispose of it on your own. I'm like, so wait, we're keeping the tub?
Yeah.
Suddenly repair is looking pretty good. So we got a $200 repair.
I'm surprised you didn't Jew them further. Like, no. You have to pay for the removal then, because you got it in here. What, I'm supposed to hire some people at my own expense? I want $500 to get it out of here.
Dude, it's hard to move too. This bathtub is at the very limits of my strength, of my ability to move things. And I can only pick up one side at a time. So I'm like lifting half of it. Jackie's backing the golf cart underneath it. And then I lift the other half of it and get it on. It's heavy. It's one of those iron bathtubs with like feet, is what it looks like. And anyway, so we got the bathtub effectively for $200. You can't tell it's repaired.
That's wild.
That's good, but I like Kyle's idea.
That's all that good karma, just paying it forward, Woody.
I didn't try to rip them off. Like I
No.
tried, but in each case, they didn't want to handle the disposal.
I would absolutely have tried to rip them off. You should always try to rip them off. They are that, like I'm not talking about like some guy on the street or anything. I'm talking about fucking Wayfair.
Yeah.
I didn't really know
Chinese
about
company to
Wayfair,
me.
but like
I like your character of trying to Jew people. In your words of Kyle Meyerstein.
Amazon
Well, this
service is good
bathtub
like
isn't
that
usable.
too. I got ripped off by Amazon once. I bought something for $50, and it was the wrong part. It was like sort of my fault that it was the wrong part. Yeah. And no, it wasn't actually. They shipped a part I didn't ask for. That's what it was. And it was a motorcycle part. Doesn't matter. It was worth $50. And they're like, you're gonna have to ship it back. And I'm like, but you sent me the wrong part. They shouldn't cost me anything. I shouldn't be out shipping money when you send me the wrong thing. And they're like, yeah, we'll reimburse you. Anyway, I go to ship it back, and it's $250 to ship this stupid fucking thing to like Egypt or something. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's not my dime. So I ship it to Egypt, and I fill out the customs form that says it's worth $50. It gets flagged by like Egyptian's customs. And they're like, no one sends a $50 part for $250 in shipping. You're obviously lying to us. I'm like, actually, I'm not. It does happen in situations.
Prove it, Egypt. Fuck you.
I'm like, someone else paid for the shipping, and they told me to do it. And I'm trying to get my $50 back, and they told me to return it. And that, anyway, the whole thing settles. I didn't get my shipping back. I got fucked.
You need to take that up with the Shah of Egypt.
They take American military too. Those sons of bitches.
And you know what?
Turn around and do this to Woody.
You know what? They've been resting on their laurels for 2005. Actually, wait, when was that first pyramid of Giza made? About 4,500 years ago.
That sounds right.
4,500 years. They've been like, look at this pyramid. Get over it.
Yes.
It's not that cool. Look at what the Greeks did. Are the Greeks that big on their way more?
If I were in charge, we'd take them down.
There's like 4,000 buildings in New York City that are cooler than your pyramid. Why are you hanging your hat on that?
Yeah. And even of ancient monuments, you know what's like cooler is like the sophisticated Corinthian columns of Rome and Egypt. Rome and Greece to the, normal. I would
take my house over that pyramid. It has 4 Wi-Fi points.
It has a dog shit layout. Have you seen how much is livable? Terrible. It's mostly rock.
Taylor, you are my hope for interesting weather. Did anything good happen? Did you lose power? Did you get
anything good happen? Like losing power? No, it's been great. Knock on wood so far. Like we're up to the 20s now. Like we were
bragging
for a couple of days. Like we were well below zero here, and so I just had like all of my little faucets just dripping, just because I didn't want to deal with a bunch of nonsense.
I don't give a fuck. I'm a renter,
dude. But you still want water. Water's so tight.
I love it. No. I left my hose on. I left the hose on because I like how like crinkly it gets when you break it later on. and the spray part in it of the hose exploded in the night and just sprayed water all night into the yard. Hilarious! The whole yard turned to ice. The dogs are slipping, sliding. They love it. The best part is,
if you actually did that, you'd be such a psycho.
I did do it. And
you left your hose on when it was like 2 degrees outside, or whatever it was there.
Well, the end of it, the spray nozzle, like exploded from the cold. But yeah, it's always on, so they can grab it at a moment's notice.
Went up, and it's
the dog loves
its
it.
Job.
The dogs love it.
Yeah,
the dogs love it.
No, they love getting squirted by the hose. So I always
right, and then they freeze and they turn into little dog men, like dog snowmen. And the neighbors look and
look at him shivering.
The best
Let's
thing
give him a
happened,
carrot nose.
the best thing that happened, it got down, I don't know, in the single digits during the day here. It was like 6 degrees during the day, which I know it was colder up north, obviously, but that's what happened here. And I've had that water leak that I thought was fixed in my yard, but it was only warm weather fixed. So it got cold enough that because what's happening, I guess, is like that little trickle is freezing. And then you know how ice works. You've seen like the crazy ice formations that can happen. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And so it froze the whole yard. Like the ice just kept coming up until the yard was frozen. And then it started pouring down the road again, and all that froze. And it poured all over the neighbor's driveway because it's a little bit low lying, and froze it solid like an ice rink. And like it's in sort of a dip so that you're already walking downhill, like into black ice.
Those poor people.
yeah, I don't give a shit. You know, it has nothing to do with me. Like I called and called. They've been told and told. I should go tell that guy, like, hey man, how about you slip today? I'll watch you do it. I'm your witness. You sue my fucking landlord. Just give me a fucking like expert witness fee. There's got to be a legal way to do this, dude.
Whatever the amount to fix this pipe for real. That's the
no. I don't give a fuck about that pipe. I think it's a tourist attraction. I get to meet so many nice people when they knock on the door. Do you know that you have a water leak in your yard?
I hate that.
You're like, come in.
I got like 4 dogs all freaking out at the door knocking,
losing their shit. A guy knocked on the door the other day, and he's delivering food with earbuds in and music playing, so he can't hear me yelling through the door. And I'm yelling, dogs, and he's like, what? I can see him through the hole, and it's a black guy, so I know they don't like dogs. And so finally I opened the door, and all the dogs are like, arr, 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 like lined up, all 4 of them. And he's like, oh shit, you were saying dog. And I'm like, yes, dog.
Dog.
Do you like dogs?
Like dogs?